Alrighty guys, we're back for Golgari Graveyard, and this is a Through the Omenpaths standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. We got a couple new cards packed in. 2 Skv'x the Augmenter here. It's a 3 mana, 2/4 legendary creature rocking Dimir Hybrid in the casting cost. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from the top of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Nice. For a 2 and Dimir Hybrid, exile this card from your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains this card's other abilities. Okay, activate only as a sorcery. Actually, a really neat one, huh? We also have a couple Trail of Teacups. It's a 4 mana enchantment saga. Chapter 1, mill 5 cards. When you do, this saga deals damage equal to the greatest power among creature cards in your graveyard to target creature. So you gotta have some chunky creatures packed in for that to be a good chunk of damage. Chapter 2, target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Chapter 3, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, interested to see how much this is actually going to do today. How about those chunky creatures packed in? Well, we got 4 Overlord of the Balemurk. Got to do some rearranging for that impending cost, of course, right? Just fitting the theme really nicely overall. So all 4 of them make sense to me. All 4 Hollow Marauders. It's a 7 mana 4/2, but it costs 1 less to cast for each creature card in your graveyard. So it does have flying, and when it enters, any number of target opponents each discard a card. For each of those opponents who didn't discard a card with mana value 4 or greater, draw a card. It's actually a fantastic ability packed onto this, right? So how many creatures do we have packed in? That's important. Well, we got 24 total creatures, so over a third of the deck list to go ahead and try to get that Hollow Marauder nice and cheap. Same concept with Huskburster Swarm. It's an 8 mana 6/6 menace death touch. Costs 1 less to cast for each creature card you own in exile and your grave. So this one includes exile. It could be pretty important if your opponent has like strategic betrayal or something, or other ways to rip things out of your grave. How about Diamond Weapon as a 3 of in here? That's a 9 mana 8/8 with reach. It has immune, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to Diamond Weapon, and it does cost 1 less to cast for each permanent card in your graveyard. So how many permanents do we got packed in? Well, we have 2 instants and 6 sorceries, and the rest of the cards should be permanents. It should be easy peasy to get this down to just double green. And being an 8/8, it's a good one to hit with that top ability on Trail of Teacups, right? So we got some removal packed into the top end here with the Virtue of Persistence. We could do some rearranging for the adventure, of course. And when you do cast it out as an enchantment, that's a similar concept to actually activating the origin on Terminus of Return, right? So a little bit of reanimation packed in, but very expensive reanimation at that. So some more removal, we have 2 Quag Feast and a couple Bitter Triumphs as well. Esper Origins fitting the mill theme nicely, and the flashback always coming in handy. We also have Ainok Wayfarer, which is a 2 mana 1/1 when it enters mill 3. You may put a land card from among them into your hand. If you don't, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. A little bit of early ramp and more mill packed in right with Molt Tender here. Okay, the mana base, we got 4 Multiversal Passage, we got all 4 Verge, we have all 4 Underground Mortuaries, a Restless Cottage, a couple Blooming Marsh, and we even have a Kishla Village packed in too. No honorable mentions today, guys. There are a whole bunch of ways we could have possibly put Golgari Graveyard together, so instead of just packing the sideboard full with 15 cards, I emptied the sideboard, so at the very least, what should have made the cut as an honorable mention? Okay, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I think it'll be pretty good, man. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what we can get up to here. All right, we go first. All right, good. I like it. Get the Molt Tender down. The mana's fantastic here. Ooh, Esper Origins is pretty good, but it's probably just better to go right into the Overlord. Could always mill first on the Molt Tender, but I think I'm going to poke a damage through. We see a Wayfarer, which I'll definitely grab. Alright. Yeah. Instead of the mill, I think I'm just going to poke that damage through with the Molt Tender. The impending... Excuse me, guys. The impending starts counting down. They take 2 for an Essence Channeler, which is a pretty scary card. We should probably pop right away. Yeah, we could do that. We could discard the Esper Origin. We could probably just take the 3 for the Bitter Triumph too. But discarding the Origins is pretty good, honestly. We can play the Swamp. I'll do this before they untap. Essence Channeler is just a really good target. One of the reasons to discard the Origins too is because we can cast it for the flashback next turn, which is actually pretty valuable. Okay, then we'll tap the Molt Tender to get the Wayfarer down. And we'll get rid of the Bitter Triumph, right? Yeah. Makes the most sense there. See the mill. Diamond Weapon in the grave. And I guess we can grab the Underground Mortuary. We don't have to grab something, but I'm going to. So 3rd mana from the opponent. Deep Cavern Bat. All right. Dude, it's been forever since I've just seen, like, bats, you know? We go ahead, take the Overlord out of the equation. Yep, that makes sense. We could have dropped it for 5 mana. Which actually would have been much better. Like, I was thinking Esper Origins for the turn, but the ramp on the Molt Tender, of course, right? That would have been really good for us. So actually, we can get this down tapped, start with the Surveil, and still use the Molt Tender to cast the Esper Origins then. That's probably okay. Start with the Surveil, then we'll get even more Surveil. Yeah, don't need more mana right now. Then do this. So that would be, I guess, Blooming Marsh. Okay, Kishla Village could be good, but I just feel like we don't need more mana right now, right? It'd be nice to start actually putting more creatures into the grave for the Marauder. Yeah, I'm going to send them both. Let's see what's on top. Hopefully we still hit with the Esper Origins ability here. We do. It's going to be a Terminus of Return, actually. We can successfully swing against the bat here, too. Poke that through. Overlord's impending down to 2. Yeah, it's crazy. We got 7 cards in the grave, but only 1 creature. Nice. Exemplar restocks their hand really nicely here. Another Hollow Marauder. We are ramping into it successfully, I suppose. Thanks to the Esper Origins. Drop the Swamp. We do have Terminus for 2. And still get the Marauder down. Without tapping the Molt Tender, which is pretty good. I do think that we can squeeze this Esper Origins through. But I guess we can't pass the phase. Because we don't want to lose this green source. So we want to start with this. In other words, we'd have to tap down the Molt Tender. We could try a full swing. They probably block the Molt Tender. We get 5 through. Mortuary, okay. Because this would be a good trade. We could just swing here, keep these 2 alive. But honestly, getting more creatures to the grave could be good too. I think we actually go for the full swing. Let them block wherever they want. And of course, we wouldn't do a full swing if Exemplar had lifelink or something. So they do end up blocking the Molt Tender. Which, like I said, that's not too bad. We still get the 5 through here. Overlord down to 1. Yeah, that does make the Hollow Marauder a little bit cheaper. Okay, Essence Channeler. Yeah, dude, we're in danger, huh? So, Sheltered by Ghosts, significant danger. Oh dear, right? Yep, significant danger. They go back up to 18. Essence Channeler goes up to a 4-3, and they do draw a card here. Their Hollow Marauder isn't terrible, but what are we gonna do, man? Oh dear, let's start with the Surveil on the Mortuary. So Skv'x is pretty good. We can send that to the grave. Give that ability to the Wayfarer. If we do 4 mana here, we only have 2 mana open, so we won't have the Skv'x from the grave. If we do Skv'x from the grave, these will both cost 5. Either way, a 7/6 lifelink ward 2 is going to be really hard to deal with. So I say the Skv'x ability on the Wayfarer, get this damage past the Channeler, and then see what we can send to the grave, and see if we can find some removal too to try to deal with that Exemplar. They do end up blocking. We're only going to see 1 off the top, and they're probably just going to plug those counters right into the Deep Cavern Bat. So they'll still have 10 in the air here. We see a Huskburster Swarm. Okay, so we could send it to the grave or put it in our hand, and in this scenario, no, it looks like we are forced. Put one of them into your hand. Crap, I'd love this to go to the grave, though. It does cost 2. Because of the cards in exile, though. Okay, that actually worked out a little bit, but it's not something that can block like the Deep Cavern Bat and stuff. Then Overlord does power up here. With the Overlord swing, there's a real possibility we can drop both Marauders here. They got 10 in the air. I think it's anyone's game, but I think it's heavily leaning towards the opponent. This is a good one, though. I like this. Triple Essence Channeler chilling in the grave. They'll go up to 27. We got 6 mana here. It costs 7 and a tap for Terminus, but then that's like for a longer game, right? Because if we paid 7 mana for Terminus, we'd still have to get back to our upkeep to start benefiting from that. Ooh, Star City Cleric gets us really close to death here, right? So whenever they gain life, we lose 1, so they gain twice here. Go down to 3. Exemplar draws. It's a 9/8. We need removal, bro. Now the Star City Cleric can't block, but they're at 27, so they don't mind. Oh no! Second Sheltered by Ghost pretty much is the nail in the coffin, as we were going to be relying on the Overlord to get these cheap Marauders down. And we do find Multiversal Passage, so that could be the... We go down to 1. But we probably start with the card draw on Marauder number 1. Wow, Quag Feast. There we go. Mana value. So this is mana value 4. A2, pop the Exemplar. Overlord. This has ward 4, guys. Oh no. Crap. Right. So here, 1 second, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy. Also, going down to 1 on Multiversal Passage really doesn't work, because then Star City Cleric will kill us no matter what. Except unless we go Star City Cleric as the pop on the Quag Feast. And if Quag Feast doesn't get us the proper mill for the Marauder, I think we're gonna die no matter what. I used my 1 timeout here. Let's do the fun thing. It's too bad this has ward 4. If it was just the 1 Sheltered by Ghost, then the Quag Feast would have been so good. Actually, guys, yeah, I'll do the fun thing. Let's pop the bat, and we do mill another creature. Now, the Overlord comes back to hand, right? And Hollow Marauder, if we would have milled another creature, could have been 2 as a second blocker in the air, but taking the damage from the passage pretty much ends us either way, right? So I guess in that scenario, right, let's grab the diamond weapon back to hand for sure. Yeah, look at that, double green, cool. Get that through because it has menace and the cleric cannot block. Good game, opponent. It's a tough puzzle to think through at the end there because it got to the point where I don't think there were a lot of outs, but I was still trying to find one. You know what I mean? Let me know in the comments if you guys found a better play there at the end. Or somewhere in the middle of the game too. Heck yeah, I still had fun. Yeah, so it ended up being Orzhov life gain, not Orzhov bats, but I'm really just waiting for somebody to revisit bats. You know what I mean? Like, where's just straight Orzhov bats? I still believe that that could work pretty well. I guess maybe I'll have to visit it at some point. That sounds like a fun one to put together on stream. Yeah, I guess Quag Feast on the Cleric. If we would have milled the 2, the Hollow Marauder could have come down, then we would have had 2 blockers in the air, but then what? You know what I mean? I think we were in significant danger no matter what. And then taking 2 from the passage, if that was just like an untapped land, maybe that would have changed our line as well. So for this hand, we go ahead and call Swamp with the passage, and actually with the Swamp draw, we can call Forest, I guess. Yeah, that still works. Go ahead and let that enter tapped. Izzet Colors is always scary with VV floating around. Fear of missing out. Oh dear? Winter Night Stories to the grave. So Molt Tender, I mean, that would have been really nice last turn, right? We would have started with Wastewood Verge then for sure. Oh, that's okay though, because still just getting some mill to the yard is good too. And that probably means Wayfarer, because I do want the 4th mana in hand. Although Esper Origins is pretty good here as well, with the double Surveil. We actually miss the mana and get a +1/+1 counter, which is fine eventually, because it's nice to have these creatures in the grave. If we would have hit more creatures early on in the last game, probably could have been anyone's game, but I still believe that the double Sheltered by Ghosts was the nail in the coffin. Go ahead and drop in a Braid on our poor little 2/2. I'm okay with that. That's not terrible for us. Look at this. Hollow Marauder for 3 thanks to all that awesome mill. Guys, that's kind of crazy, right? Because we could try to get it down to 1, but the odds of us milling 2 creatures is probably pretty low. So I think we just play this. This is excellent at 3 mana. Let's see the discard. Or it might be helping them out by letting them discard, right? Yep, VV to the grave. Uh-oh, but we did get some card draw there. That's good at least. Let's see if they can find their cauldron in time. Proft's Eidetic Memory. Luckily, Quag Feast is really good removal once we have things in the grave. They torch the tower. Our poor 4/2 goes into exile, which does help out the Swarm. The Swarm is now 3 mana. Overlord. I think Overlord could realistically get the Marauder or the Swarm to 1 mana, so that could be pretty good. Wouldn't be bad to drop a Quag Feast before this starts double swinging, right? Options, man. Options. I say Overlord. I think milling 4 gives us a real chance of getting the Huskburster or the Hollow Marauder down to 1, and I like that risk. So, they're 2 mana. Maybe the other Molt Tender then is what we can grant. We can decline and keep him at 2 mana. The Wayfarer could help us grab mana. We kind of need some mana eventually. But the other Molt Tender in hand is fine too. Actually, just grabbing the Hollow Marauder back and eventually recasting that too. That's also fine. Okay, hopefully my risk pays off, right? Because that mill was pretty poor overall. Although I do like the Skv'x in the yard. There's always a possibility that they don't keep any blockers up. We can use the Skv'x ability first, maybe, on the Tender. They outright cast a Vivi here. They go for that swing. You could take the chump, actually. Because we don't need the 4th mana to... Unless we get the Hollow Marauder back down to 2 off a Quag Feast on the Vivi. Okay, I'll take the 3 down to 12, which is a little sketchy because they really know how to pack damage through eventually. We do actually just find the 4th mana here too, which is completely fine. Gives us 5 total. We could play the other Overlord, but no matter what, we should Quag Feast the Vivi, right? Even though, yeah, they're missing their Cauldron, so I guess that's fine. We didn't end up hitting a creature. Now, again, we could risk it with something like Esper Origins, right? Or the other Overlord mill 4. Get him down to 1. No, I don't think we do. I think we just outright cast Marauder again. And then make sure we get rid of the proper thing here, which would be, I suppose... It doesn't really matter in this scenario, so I'll grab a swamp. Yeah, we got so much in the yard anyways. You just don't want to pick up a creature by any means. This is funny, man. We got a lot of options. Oh, Bitter Triumph's a really good draw. Thank goodness. Cauldron to the... Oh, they do have a Cauldron, guys. They had double Cauldron, actually. So I'd call that a bit of a weird order, then. Starting with the Vivi, because they already had Vivi in the yard. Well, either way, we're in significant danger now. I think we could die this turn easily. Yep, I think it could be all too easy for them to push that 12 through, especially with fear of missing out having the Delirium. So maybe somewhere along this game I could have played it out better. There was a risky play with the Overlord 2 turns ago. Maybe if I would have just... Oh, actually, guys, we're super dead, right? Yeah, 14 coming through. Oh, no! Right, good game, opponent, good game. So, there were a few things. Like I said, Overlord was a risk earlier, not hitting the extra creatures. We didn't get one of our chunky creatures down, all that. Number 2... Knowing what we're up against, we could have predicted burn, right? And played Huskburster Swarm instead. And Huskburster Swarm with the Death Touch would have been really good against the fear of missing out. But instead, I went for Hollow Marauder because I wanted that ability and I wanted card draw. Not worth it there at all because they ran right into the Torch the Tower. So I made it easier for the opponent to actually get into that lethal damage on that turn. So yeah, I definitely could have played that out better. We can't really blame the deck list there because if I would have, I think there's a real chance I do. Because we got a lot of great synergies and some good card advantage. Some good cards in general, actually, just packed in. So yeah, I'll have to keep a watch out for that. That's one of those things where the Is It VV decks are kind of really hard to play around. But I always see it after the fact, you know what I mean? Like, oh, definitely should have not played a 2 toughness creature in a deck list that runs a lot of burn. Okay. I really like all these opening hands. Fireglass Siren. Hi. I kind of wish we went first here, guys. If it's Dimir Tempo, a pretty aggressive deck list. Now, I think we'll start with Overlord to get the impending rolling, but the triple Wayfarers is actually really good, so... See some mana off the top there with the map token. Okay. Verge can come down successfully. Second diamond weapon is not terrible at all. Hollow Marauder, Esper Origins. Yep, totally grab the Marauder here. Diamond weapons down to 7. With the third mana, we're probably going to have to run into some counter spells here soon. Nope, they're going to tap out for the turn. For the Kaito, which is well worth it.
I've seen scarier things. My eyes are as sharp as my sword.
They surveil a curiosity to the grave, which tells us a lot, I would say. That means they have another curiosity in hand. That or two, right? Because that's a very good card to have here. So Terminus is an excellent draw. Get that down for some good ramp. Wayfarer, grab a land. One step closer, right? Yep, totally grab that land. Get some chunky things here. We need the diamond weapon to be able to block that Kaito, and they might just go plus on the Kaito too. Oh wow, Lord Skitter making the cut in the opponent's list, guys. That is terrible news for us. Hopefully they hit the Esper Origins here first. That way we can keep our permanents in the grave to make sure we can actually get these chunky creatures down. Yeah, we got double Esper Origins, and no, they take a Virtue, making our diamond weapon even more expensive. Guys, I'm going to take the chump while I have the chump, but also we like creatures in the grave. We're in danger, dude. Holy cow, what a turn 4 from the opponent. So 4th mana, that's 5 total, thanks to the Terminus. We can do the Esper Origins, Surveil 2, have 1 mana remaining, or we can double down on Wayfarer, which is actually a mill of 6, which is probably better here, because we could get the diamond weapon down to 3. It looks like we do, so we can decline here, right? We don't want to take a permanent out of the yard, and then we can play diamond weapon. This is really good, guys, but we haven't seen any of the actual tempo from the opponent yet, just the aggressive side, which means they could easily bounce the diamond weapon or tap it down, banish it, right? I think the banishing the Flood Pit's Drowner, okay, actually they just used the Kaito ability, which is really bad news. I overlooked that. I was gonna say Flood Pit's Drowner, it's like it has to tap too, so they wouldn't be able to banish it on the same turn if they did it on their turn, rather than flashing it down on our turn, right? So map token on the rat. Oh yeah, dude, we're gonna get obliterated. This is heavily leaning towards the opponent. I realistically don't know how we pull this back right now, because Lord Skitter needs to go, but Kaito really needs to go. That's a lot of value on their board at any given time. They actually take the Skv'x here. And we can take the trade into the rat. Take 8 down to 8. They just get another rat next turn. We chump the Kaito. Take 6 down to 10. I think it's the rat. 8 down to 8. Since we're in danger either way, Enduring Curiosity, they're going to restock their hand really nicely here, guys. Wow. Danger, send help. Trail of Teacups is pretty good. So 6 mana, mill 5 is just significant. We do damage, that does help us pop the Lord Skitter, but now we have the Enduring Curiosity. Just everything that the opponent's playing needs to go. But popping Curiosity, it just comes back as an enchantment, but it's not a 4/3 that can attack, I suppose. Second diamond weapon, they still got the -2 on Kaito without Kaito actually dying, so we still don't really have a blocker, unless it's a chump. Probably got to be the Lord Skitter, right? It's generating a lot of value, and it's hitting our graveyard. Esper Origins still have 2 mana open. After a Surveil, we could play Wayfarer. And it's got to be Trail of Teacups, mill 5. See what we do with that Hollow Marauder. Could get it down to 2 pretty easily. We do get it down to 2, and now we get 8 damage here. I think I'm going to hit that Lord Skitter. The Curiosities are a really good grab too, but like I said, they'll still get the benefits from it. We go Hollow Marauder. They got plenty of cards to discard, right? If they don't want us to draw a card, they could discard like another Curiosity or something. Or a Kaito. Nice. Get some card draw here. Overlord is impending down to 1 next turn. If we can survive here. No, I guess we can't survive no matter what because Hollow Marauder gets tapped down by the Kaito. Oh man, that's really tough, man. How do we play around that? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Did you see a way through here? I don't think so. They just go ahead and Tragic Trajectory anyways. I guess playing multiple creatures, multiple chump blockers would have been the best bet that turn over the Trail. And they'd still have the Lord Skitter on the board anyways. I don't know, dude. I think even if we would have been able to pull off 2 chump blockers, I'm not sure. That's a tough puzzle, huh? Now, Dimir Tempo, that's a tough deck list for anyone to go up against, honestly. Or any deck list, I should say. Alright, let's push it. One more, guys. One more. And while I have you here towards the end of the video, make sure you check out that description. We do got that Discord link down there, as well as that Patreon link, too. Additionally, for the YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. If you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing because it really does help out the channel. So thank you guys. I don't know about you, but I think this deck list is more than capable of ending on a high note here. Let's keep this. Looks pretty good. We're going first 2, which is awesome news. Now with turn 2 Surveil on the Mortuary, we still got 2 mana open, so any of our 2 mana cards, which is a huge chunk of cards, will be really good here because we can Surveil on the Mortuary, then ramp. Quag Feast, I guess I said any of our 2 mana cards, right? But we actually don't have any targets for the spot removal in hand, which is totally fine. We still can just go Surveil, see what's on top. And mana is gonna be sent here. I hope that's okay. I hope I don't regret that, right? We want Molt Tender open, just in case we're forced into a Bitter Triumph this turn. If we're not forced into the Bitter Triumph, okay, it's going to be Esper Origins. Nice. So we can go mill on the Molt Tender then. We're trying to get this diamond weapon as cheap as possible, too. They send a starting town, keep the other one on top here. The opponent's tapped out. We'll do this now. Hollow Marauder to the grave. Gets diamond weapon down to 7. Still no targets for our awesome removal. Now, I suppose we can target our Molt Tender with Quag Feast. That doesn't seem great, right? We'll keep double Bitter Triumph open and see what happens here. And then Molt Tender open for the mill, I would say, is much more worth it than swinging for 1 in this scenario. Summon Fenrir, right. This is probably Yuna, which is actually really, really terrifying. I think I'm gonna wait to... I'm gonna save Bitter Triumph. I'm gonna Quag Feast the Fenrir on our turn, because I really want that mill. We gotta get these diamond weapons on the board. Of course, it's legendary, so it's gonna be 1 at a time, but... No red source, guys. Could just be Selesnya Yuna, which is still a thing to worry about, I would say. Overlord to the yard. Uh-oh. I would have honestly liked that. Let's go ahead and get the Quag Feast on the Fenrir. Mill 2, see what we see. Okay, Esper Origins in the yard. That's really good news. Okay, diamond weapons down to 5. Restless Cottage, Bitter Triumph open. Now, on their 5th mana, guys, on their turn, Yuna could come down, bringing the Fenrir back. So it is an untapped 5th. Sariema, right. Bitter Triumph does not hit a spacecraft. Let's see if I'm right, if it is going to be the Yuna. Pretty sure. Unless they already have it in hand. Actually, with Sariema, this could be a Kona deck list. Selesnya Kona? It is going to be Kona. Huh. It'd still be Yuna too, honestly, right? They could both be in there. Okay, well, good news. Bitter Triumph against Kona's awesome, but we'll have to keep it open pretty much no matter what. Like, our next turn is just keeping Bitter Triumph open. Alright, Skv'x in the yard. Diamond weapons down to 4. Hollow Marauders down to 4. What? There's nothing we can do except keep Bitter Triumph. Yep, and both of them probably. I guess we could go Skv'x and still have 2 mana open with the Molt Tender, but that's not a great idea at all. Esper Origins could lead us into a mana, but it might not. And if it doesn't, then we probably just lose to the Kona. So we can't take that risk, especially when I really do want to end on a high note for you guys, because I think the deck list is more than capable of it. In turn, yeah, the deck list has had a rough time, so I'm not going to take any extreme risks here. We just got to make sure Kona gets popped. So Kona number 1 comes down. They got the 1 mana here. And no matter what, as soon as priority passes back to us, we Bitter Triumph. And I believe we can take the 3, but it wouldn't be terrible to send the diamond weapon, number 1. The problem is I'm pretty sure... Yeah, I'm just going to take the 3, guys. I'm pretty sure, even though it's legendary, we'll probably need both of them. Alright, no protection from the opponent. That's great news. Still get the station through, though. And I'll still mill on the Molt Tender for sure. Pass 2 attackers. Mill a card. Some land. Okay. Let's get the diamond weapon down to 3. Alright, more mana. I actually don't mind that at all. So I'm thinking Esper Origins over the diamond weapon, but we can really start putting them on a clock with a diamond weapon on the board. With 2 mana open after the Origins, we probably start with the Molt Tender. Get rid of the Bitter Triumph. Alright. Let's do this. We'll still make sure to keep 2 open for the Bitter Triumph that we have, too, I suppose. So, green source is fine. Bitter Triumph. Submit 1. There's the 2. Get the Surveil. Can send the Blooming Marsh, and I'll totally put that Overlord of the Balemurk into our hand. Pretty good, man. He is pretty good. Now, if we weren't terrified of dying to Kona, then I'd play Diamond Weapon pretty happily, but we got to keep this Bitter Triumph open and just have some patience here. Diamond Weapon for 2, easy peasy, huh? Okay, they still got 4 cards in hand. Summon Fenrir, that is not a Kona. Some good deck thinning though. And start powering up the Sariema here. 3 mana open. I don't think we used the Bitter Triumph on a Fenrir, right? I don't think so. Go ahead and station. Especially since they tap it too. I think we still have to just save that for when they find the Kona. Or any other chunkier thing. Fenrir is some really good value though, for real. Quag Feast. Okay, that could do a thing. That's probably worthwhile. That way they don't get the card draw in Chapter 3 when it comes time, or extra counters. Probably go for the swing with the Esper Origins. Actually, just dumping our hand is a little bit better here, isn't it? Hollow Marauder for 4. Alright. Let's do this, man. Let's do this. Exile a card from a graveyard. And we hit the Quag Feast here. See what they end up hitting with the 2. Yeah, we'll still have enough. Double green and everything. Let's see what they end up discarding to the Hollow Marauder. Doing all this before combat is totally fine. Giving them options on what to pop. Getting the 4 through probably regardless here on the Modoin, because they'd rather get lost like the Marauder or the Diamond Weapon. Okay, it's actually Bahamut to the grave. Scary. Right, Diamond Weapon. Still got the 2 mana open for the Bitter Triumph. Sweet. Get that swing. Down to 18. Could be lethal on the board with the Skv'x ability, but I doubt it, right? Probably a 2-turn clock. We'll see. But the opponent has so much mana that it's kind of... I mean, it could be Esper Modoin from their yard. Summon Knights of Round. That does not get popped by the Bitter Triumph, as it does have Indestructible here, and they get a whole bunch of chump blockers. Right. That's a problem. Quag Feast also reads Destroy too, so we'll try to push damage through. Wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. Other creatures you control gain +2/+2 and trample until end of turn. We might be able to still get there. Especially if they continue to tap down like that. Right? Because we can pop the Seriema with the Bitter Triumph once it powers up. Other tapped legendary creatures you control have Indestructible. Okay. I wonder what they end up doing with that. Save a blocker. Okay, Bitter Triumph. I'm okay with discarding, but we can just successfully pay the 3 here too. Just in case we don't win this turn. Esper Modoin gets an awesome boost, but we don't have the Modoin to swing, so we got 19 damage on this board. 6 in the air no matter what, but they have great blockers. Dude, I'll tell you what, man. So Skv'x. So we can go Quag Feast on... I'm sorry, opponent. Dude, I'm thinking, man. It's the first deck list I'm playing today, and I should have chose a different deck list. They dropped the frowny face. We got a Restless Cottage power up too, which is actually not terrible. So I think it's probably Quag Feast on the Knight, because the Fenrir dies next turn anyways. Not the Knights of Round, of course, that has Indestructible. Then it's probably Skv'x for more damage in the air regardless. We'll look at the top 7 there too. Got a great block there, but 17. I guess we have to keep Molt Tender. Block. Chump. They could just take the 17. Ah, so close, guys. So close. Save an emergency chump blocker, unfortunately. With the Molt Tender. They could trade here, though, if they block here. If I do swing with Molt Tender, then it goes there. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but we don't got removal open now, too. They only got 1 card in hand. So they do decide to just double block, take even less damage, and that is completely fine. And Knights of Round generates 3 more Knights for them next turn. It's not like they have haste or anything, though. So Virtue's okay. But it's got to just be the other Hollow Marauder, right? For the flying damage. Actually, guys, Okay, Hollow Marauder is actually 2. If it was only 1, we totally would play that this turn. Okay, end turn. Dude, what a match, huh? Awesome game so far. Actually, really good games today. We are just struggling to actually get the victories, but I think this could really be the one. Mainly because they need to hit this Marauder out of the air, too. Because if we continue to survive like this... Number 1, Diamond Weapon gets chumped for days now that it doesn't have Trample anymore. The Restless Cottage power up. The Restless Cottage would have just died to the Knights of the Round, so that wouldn't have been terrific. Yeah, it's too bad. One more creature in the yard and this Marauder would be on the board, ready to deal that lethal damage, potentially. Actually find Overlord of the Mistmoors. They're going to have plenty of chump blockers in the air, guys. Now it is heavily leaning towards the opponent again. Oh no, well, maybe they don't play it, right? Yeah, with the two 1s, they'll be able to double block this Marauder easy peasy. If we play... okay, they are like fully powering up the Waking Haven. Oh, that way, yeah, they can actually cast that for the 7. Yep. I don't know, man. I don't know if we're gonna get around this. Scary business. But I still believe, man. I think this could have lined up much better in our favor. You guys will have to let me know in the comments, did this deck list deserve this? Or maybe I'm being too hard on these matches too. Maybe they're much closer than I'm thinking. Okay, Trail of Teacups is actually pretty good, man. Pretty much like any removal is pretty good. Start with the card draw on the Marauder first. Have 3 Molt Tender. Keeps the Hollow Marauder around for the turn by going Teacups onto the insects, but then they'll swing with Overlord next turn anyways. Chunkiest thing in the yard is Overlord, so only 5 damage, so we're not going to be able to pop the Overlord, the Mistmoors, unless we get a Diamond Weapon in the yard off the trail. So I think we just have to find better removal. Hollow Marauder, number 2, what do you draw us, buddy? We find Huskburster Swarm, which is actually pretty good. But I still think we gotta remove that Overlord of the Mistmoors too. So unfortunately, we are gonna do it like this. A Quag Feast from the yard. And hopefully we see the Diamond Weapon. We don't, so it's only gonna be 5 damage here. We could hit the Esper Origins. I'm down to 1 timer, guys. This deck list is hard for me to run for real. Guess we'll just hit an insect then, and see what we can get done here. We'll save the Diamond Weapon as a blocker because I'm pretty sure we need it. The Mistmoors didn't have to be the nail in the coffin because realistically, without the Mistmoors, this is still a very deadly board state. And so, I guess the main nail in the coffin, Bahamut. Wow, the opponent says, who needs Kona? We'll just outright cast everything. And actually this Waking Haven looking really good right now too. Especially letting them full cast the Mistmoors instead of impending it too. Yeah, they should have lethal on the board here with the full swing. And even if they don't, they might as well full swing because they're going to get 2 extra chump blockers. So we can block the Esper Origins. They got 5, 10, 14, 20, 21 damage coming through. If we block the Overlord, it's just going to be 19 damage coming through. I think I mathed that out correctly. And if I didn't, I don't know if it matters too much, man. -5. Hey, good game, opponent. They were pretty fun ones today, regardless of the losses, but the poor deck list had a really hard time actually getting there, huh? Yeah, let's go talk about this one. Is there any potential changes that we could do to make it a little bit better? I'm not 100% certain. Like I said, when we were originally going over the deck list too, there's a lot of ways we could have put this together. Where is it? Here it is. Golgari Graveyard. You can see I put Gary up there. Graveyard Gary, the deck list. All right. This poor deck list, guys. Put it on the do not craft list. I really want to say more testing required, but it doesn't matter. 100% loss rate, we got to call it jank for sure. And that means it's probably not worth crafting, not even in the slightest. Maybe if you have all the cards, you can play it for me and get back to me and let me know if it does as bad for you as it did for me today. But also, I probably could have played most of those out better too. And also, like I said in that last game, maybe I'm just being too hard on the matches as well. Maybe they really were so close. But I'm not sure. I think if we played another 4 or 5 games, however many we ended up playing today, I think we could win all of them. But again, more testing required. It's janky. Do not craft it. If you have all of them, maybe give it a shot, especially if it looks fun to you. Maybe give it a shot and let me know how it does for you, but only if you have all the cards. Let's do some rearranging here. I am curious as to how many rares and mythics and whatnot are actually packed in. So a lot of uncommons actually. 6 mythics and 10 rares, which isn't half bad, is it? It's not terrible. Still, then we got the mana base too, though. So there's 16 rares in the mana base. Luckily, mana bases can be played in other deck lists too, but this is one too where maybe, regardless of the losses, it really does look like a lot of fun for you, or maybe you really like graveyard strategies, then maybe you could just base it on your collection completely. Like you could probably rearrange the mana base pretty much however you want based on what Golgari dual lands you have, right? If you have all 4 starting towns, that'll work as some mana fixing in here, and it won't hold you up that much, honestly. So yeah, you could trade out the mana base, and then again, yeah, base it on your collection completely. Don't craft anything for it, but maybe you have like 3 Esper Origins. You don't need the 4th one, in other words. You could go up another Bitter Triumph, probably successfully, or something like a Strategic Betrayal too. That way we can make sure we're cleaning up the opponent's grave as well. We got a lot of great spot removal options that can fit into Golgari, including actual Golgari removal too. So, for example, Assassin's Trophy, probably not, but it is an option, right, for Golgari. There's also that 3 mana one. What's that one called? Yeah, Maelstrom Pulse. This could be like a one of in here pretty easily as well, right? So destroy target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent. So that could have come in handy in that last game for sure. Absolutely. I did like the Trail of Teacups. It's a little, 4 mana for that top ability is a little slow, but it gives you slow value over time. I liked this as a 2 of, actually. A little bit janky, but because of its speed, right? But mainly in here because Milling 5 is actually fantastic. Yeah, if we would have actually had a diamond weapon in the yard in that last one, popping the Overlord of the Mistmoors would have been really good for us. We wouldn't have had the swing, though, so... Oh, it was so close. So I really do like that we have like this top-end Reanimator theme with the enchantment on the Virtue and the Terminus of Return. And guys, I really like Terminus of Return. It's actually kind of hard when we're playing any deck list with black in it to justify not having this in there, right? It's like Indestructible on it is pretty great, especially when we are seeing a lot of removal for artifacts, but then just ramping for that swamp is crazy business. Now, I do know that, in a deck list like this, it doesn't have to ramp for a black, so you could just play like Ironcrag or something, but I mean, that's a colorless that could, in theory, hold you up, right? But then also, Ironcrag doesn't have this awesome origin ability that could really eventually come in handy, especially in a deck that knows how to ramp on something like the backside of Esper Origins, right? Esper Moduin, Chapter 2, double green, get the origin ability on Terminus. That sounds like a great turn against like a mid-range deck list or something. Yeah, double Quag Feast, double Bitter Triumph didn't feel like enough removal, huh? If we go up more removal, it would be nice to have permanent removal. That way, like when it hits in the yard, the diamond weapon gets cheaper. So another Virtue of Persistence could be pretty good in here too, especially depending on what you're seeing, because the life gain pretty much always comes in handy. It's crazy, like how much or how many games actually come down to the final 2 life, you know what I mean? So you gain 2 on Virtue, all of a sudden you're in it for that 1 extra turn that you desperately needed. So second Virtue of Persistence I could see easily in here. Yeah, guys. Yeah, we have a little bit of life gain on the food tokens on Restless Cottage too. And this is, like, I had Restless Cottage in here because it felt like the kind of deck list that really would power up a creature land eventually. And I think I'm right, but I don't know. You don't really need the Restless Cottage either, probably. All right, guys. Hey, you made it this far into the video for real. Y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you. Definitely let me know in the comments. Let me know all of your opinions on this one, because that was rough. That was some really tough uphill battles. And I definitely could have played at least a couple of them out much better too. So we can't completely blame the deck list in some of those. But also, a little bit more luck in our favor, a couple more cheap Marauders, right? Like just one more creature in the yard in a couple of those games. So maybe that makes the case for more creatures need to be packed in, right? Maybe like dropping Terminus for another creature, for example, dropping 2 Esper Origins for 2 more creatures, right? Like all that could really matter. So maybe we should do some rearranging here. But either way, I'm not going to do that rearranging right now. We'll eventually revisit Golgari Graveyard, and honestly, it'll probably look completely different at that point too. So, all right, guys, hey, thank you again for being here, and I will see you in the next video.